That word culture means a lot to a lot of people. It's definitely open to interpretation, that's for sure. And that's why I'm really excited to have Eli and Kyle, the BizBros here. They're the co-founders of Results Imagery, but they also specialize in helping new businesses, helping startups, and also consulting about culture. And really what culture is, we're going to find out what they think it is, and it's probably completely different than what I think it is. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the Virtual Lounge.
Thank you.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We're pretty stoked to be here.
You know what I love is that you guys may, we've been doing the show since January of this year. We've done over 65, 70 shows, something like that. You may be my first dual guest show. I love it.
Oh, wow. Nice. Well, perfect.
Yeah, we're yin and yang over here, man. We do everything together. So
we'll put you on the Hall of Fame wall. So you guys are also podcasters, the BizBros, right? Tell us real quick about that before we jump right into the culture question, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. So, we had this idea of, creating a podcast and being able to share a message, and podcasting was really just a great platform to be able to do that. Kyle and I, we're not actual brothers, but we are best friends and feel like bros and brothers. So creating a very relaxed format podcast that actually provided value to early stage startups and really any type of business owner that can grab any little nuggets of value from what we say and our experiences. So we just try to share what we've done in the past. And that's kind of where it all sparked from.
That sounds good. You guys, I mean, I've only talked to you for a few minutes here right before we started, and I can tell already you guys finish each other's sentences. You're very good friends. You could very well be brothers, It's
yeah.
Well, let's talk about culture. Do you agree with me that maybe there are lots of interpretations of what culture is? And if so, how do you approach it?
Yeah, man, I think kind of like step back. I think the culture and the foundation of it really stems from the leadership and kind of their vision in the beginning, and then it's crafted and brought down through everyone else. At Results Imagery, we're a very parallel company. We're all unilateral. We don't really believe in hierarchy. We believe more in teamwork and working all together cohesively. We don't have our own offices. We're in the bullpen with everybody else. So we heavily believe in good unity between the whole team.
I think that's huge. I think culture in a nutshell to us is just, creating an environment in a workplace that people enjoy coming to. Not feeling like it's the 9 to 5 clock in, clock out. We want people to feel excited to come to work, feel energized, and feel really valued. And so I think as leaders, like Kyle said, instilling a level of value in each person, that they own their responsibility and they own the role that they're in charge of, that leads to just the bigger picture and the macro look at a really good, solid culture.
Yeah, I previously was at a TV station, and I work with a lot of folks who are obviously talented videographers and people manager, and it seems that it's a very good thing to be in a more collaborative culture for what you do. Is that because, do you find that helps with the creativity and what you're bringing to your clients? Is that part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you said, everyone collaborating together. One of the big things that we make sure all of our employees, they understand how they are touching every single client. Like the whole company as everyone together is propelling our clients' work as a team. So it's not just one individual. It's not just the creative or the project manager, the client success manager. It's everybody together has a hand in the better good of producing content for our clients.
And specifically in our industry too, versus having these like partitioned little walls, the collaborative open space environment allows one creative and one editor to kind of like lean over the table and say, "Hey, Jimmy, can I get a little insight on this? Or how do you want this to look? How did you shoot this? How did your eye feel when you were shooting this?" And then when they're editing that, it just provides a lot more collaboration versus these individual offices. Everybody these days has noise canceling headphones if they're really trying to shut the world off and focus and grind. But we've always believed in a very open floor plan.
Yeah.
And that leads to good culture, I think, coming back to that.
Well, hate to mention it, but it is obvious that we're in the midst of a pandemic. How has that affected your business and your culture? Can you walk me back? Did you guys shut down at any time when this hit, or how did that go?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning when there was 100% mandatory shut down. Of course we did, but pretty quickly we got back to the studio. We practice safe social distancing for the most part, and we're all healthy. We use our common sense, wash our hands, but we have found personally how it's affected our business is in a very positive way, with e-commerce taking this crazy wave just blowing up, and we're riding that wave because, the e-commerce service providers are the ones that are being leaned on, and they're the crutches for all of these brands and companies.
Yeah, we've seen an explosion. And to answer your second question about culture and how that's been affected, when we were shut down for a little bit, we were doing the remote thing, but it's pretty hard to do remote photography when you have a professional studio. So that was tough. Yeah. But once we got back into the studio, I think it was a really positive thing for the mindset of our employees. Everybody's hearing like, oh, you have to stay home, and everybody's doing these Zoom meetings. And we just made sure to instill, let's be safe. Let's, like Kyle said, let's wash our hands. Let's not be dumb. And let's come back into the studio. And it provided a really positive mindset for everybody. They can come back and they can actually collaborate in person with their colleagues. And that was huge.
Did you experience any surprise from your clients, or that you were back so relatively quickly? Did anybody express, wow, I didn't expect this, or glad you're back? I'm sure they said that, but
I think I think in the e-commerce space, a lot of people are progressive thinking and forward thinking. I think they were all everyone for the most part was very excited that we were back in. In the beginning we were like doing off shifts. So it was like a couple people would be in and then a couple off. And then it just, having a bullpen in our office, and everyone that we hire, we try to make sure they actually have a creative background. So whether you're in the sales position, project management, administrative help, like everybody has a creative background. So what's really cool is collaboratively, if a project manager and a creative is working together and someone on the other side of the office hears, everyone puts input, even though it might not be you're the account manager. It's really neat. It's really cool. And so being back in the office, that helped a lot.
Yeah. When I had my agency, sorry to bore the listeners who know this, but when I had my agency, I've been around almost 11 years. We were got to about 6-person office at one point. And that's not, I didn't set out to do this, but it seemed to work better when we were in our office space. I had an office, but it was open, and it just seemed like I want everybody from the intern on up to be able to weigh in, because, and I'll tell you, especially for a geezer like me, that was very helpful to have young people listening to the PR pitches we were trying to make. And I particularly, this might interest you, a PR guy talking to you guys. I'm sure you deal with some PR people in your line of work, is that I really needed some help with that aspect of it. I came from a TV background, but I wasn't a shooter or anything. I was a PR guy at a TV station. So I found that very useful for our culture as well. Do you do anything else beyond that particular aspect? Do you, and I know it's harder to do right now, but do you do things that are offsite to promote retention? Tell us a little bit about your retention strategies for your employees, if you would.
Yeah, I think a big chunk of that is, like I said, first off, is providing a place that they love and that they want to work, and give them value and give them the tools to be able to stick around and not feel like, oh man, I'm not getting what I need to be successful, so I'm going to go look elsewhere. So aside from that, we try to do things every week as a team culturally. If it's going to a happy hour every Friday, we try to do that, and then we try to do something every month, some type of team event every month, whether that's like an escape room. We're going to do something, kind of cool like that as a team.
Fun things.
And really the mission behind that, as much as we try to, is team building and team bonding. So creating, this family unit that we have in the office that, you're spending more time here than you are at home. So the people that you're around, hopefully you like and enjoy and can work with them and trust them. So a lot of what we try to do is to build trust within the employees and try to build that team internally. So
I think one really cool daily thing that we do at the company is we have a gong in the office. And so we believe 100% in celebrating. Like if there's anything we can celebrate, someone go do a gong hit, whether it's closing a sale, delivering, getting a review, anything. I mean, we do it constantly. There's probably about 30 of them a day. And then everybody stops what they're doing, claps, ask what happened. So we're constantly trying to infuse positivity and celebrating, just to it just keeps energy going, and it keeps like the flow in the right direction. And it's exciting to do it.
It totally is.
You see someone walk towards it and everyone just kind of watches. What's it going to be? So
everybody experiences the 2:30 p.m. kind of crash.
Yeah.
And those, loud hits of the gong definitely gets
wakes
people awake.
Everybody up.
I worked at a small shop briefly in between my TV gig and starting my agency 11 years ago. And I just remember and I want to say it's small, it was 4 of us. And I just remember though, kind of saying, well, hey, what do we do for birthdays around here? And they just looked at me like I had 3 heads. I mean, how hard is it to say, it's your birthday, we'll take you to lunch today, or here's some cupcakes or something. But these guys, I'm not knocking them, but they just were not tuned to that. And to your point about you want a fun place to go to work and a place that feeds you. It wasn't long before I started developing like the Sunday night blues about this place, because it was just a weird tension, or they might develop something like we were all professionals, yet the boss wanted everybody to clock in and clock out all of a sudden, which is just to me, I don't know about you guys, but I think that's
do that.
I'll just say it. I've never cursed on this show, but that was bullshit, and I told him so. I just said, guys,
weird.
No, it's just but he was just old school, and it just and that's why I didn't probably last there very long, because I was no, not for me. So I appreciate that, because you're not going to retain people if you're constantly throwing BS at them like that. Trying to kind of impose your will by being an authoritarian type. I just don't see how that works these days.
Ain't happening. I wanted to piggyback on one thing that you said about birthdays and stuff. Is we actually have a board. We have whiteboards everywhere in our office. And we actually have one that's the birthday board. And so everyone's birthday is actually on the board. So everyone knows it's coming up. We celebrate everything. Yeah. And then we also have another whiteboard.
I was going to say, let's talk about the other board. Yeah, we have another whiteboard. In the studio, again, promoting culture that is really focused on quotes. Everybody that comes into our office writes a quote on the board. Most of the time, it's like inspirational, motivational quotes. There's a couple funny ones up there.
Funny ones in there from movies, but
but for the most part, it you walk by that every day, and you can just take a look at the quotes, and usually there's new ones every week.
Yeah, just allows a platform too for everyone just to kind of showcase.
Yeah, express
themselves.
Yeah,
we're always trying to figure out cool things. Just to
culture's
fun. Culture's huge to us.
It's massively important.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear from your website I checked out. I mean, it's you talk about how it's there's not really a hierarchy. I mean, you guys have your titles and you own the place and all that, but but I mean, it can't just be there's probably some people listening in horror going, well, wait, how do decisions get made? Well, that's not what they're talking about here.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, in the time we have left, let me ask you a little bit though, because a lot of our listeners, I know this for a fact, are entrepreneurs, are very seriously considering doing what I did years ago. They're PR people at a company or something, and they're back of their mind, they want to jump ship, start their own agency, and you do consult for early stage startups, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's that look like? What if I came to you and said, look, man, I'm tired of working for Alex Greenwood. He's old school. I can't stand him. He didn't remember my birthday. I'm going to start my own gig. I mean, how would that work with you guys? What would you do? I
think the first thing we try to tell people is we believe a lot in passion. So focusing on, is what you're going to go and set off and cut the safety net, is that something that's very passion driven? Because if it's not, that day-to-day grind and how much it takes to actually pursue going off on your own. I mean, it's a grind. I mean, they're 12-hour days. It's got to be something that you love. So I from what we both kind of say is it has to be passion-based, or something that you see there is just an absolute need, and you see the profitability and the financials behind it. But the root really starts for us is with passion, and then going after that and really following suit and sticking to your word.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say we get fairly connected with universities, college of businesses at universities, and we ask the professors please send students that have business ideas to us. Let us help them, let us guide them through it, and that's the most fruitful. It is so fun to do. That is where we love helping young entrepreneurs. You can do it. You have the ability. Don't let age dictate what you can do. It's just a number.
That's been powerful too, because they can relate to us a little bit more because we're relatively fresh out of school, and they can kind of relate back to us and be like, oh man, they're only 6-7 years out of school. I can do that too. So let's go.
Well, I love that. And that's one reason why, of course, we had to suspend it a couple of years ago when we went virtual, but we had 6 or 7 different colleges and universities sending us interns, and we got high marks for it because I think it's because we did I tried to do what you're prescribing here, which is be inclusive. I would take them with me on pitches. I would, I took an intern with me to a pitch to get one of the largest fitness clubs in the region. They were doing a merger and a buyout and all this stuff. And she went with me and she said, I never dreamt I'd get to go on an actual pitch where you're pitching the CEO. Cool. I mean, this guy's the CEO. You would recognize the name of this place, and we got the job. And she to this day, I mean, I haven't seen her in 3 years. To this day, she's been traveling around the world working and doing stuff in PR, and she still connects with me to tell me things like that or to ask me questions. I've had at least 4 or 5 of them who could still contact me and say, can I get a reference from you? And I'm like, you interned with me 3 years ago for 3 months, and but thank you. I'm flattered and I'm honored. So
shows the impact that you make.
Well, and I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I'm saying
no, totally
reinforce what you guys are doing, though, by the same thing. Because frankly, when I thought, startups and stuff, I didn't think you'd go the direction of like talking to the very young at all. Yeah. Which is just that just wins huge plaudits from me. I think that's great. It's the mark we do make. I mean, we all move on eventually. Now, you guys are a little younger than me. They're a lot younger guys. Anyway, but what you're doing is you're building some great connections. I'll tell you this: you're probably going to start hearing from people down the road who are like, "Oh man, you guys, we were there when nobody else believed in me, or you were there when." Yep. So kudos on that. Well, look, as we wrap up here, if people want to, they need to listen to your podcast, correct?
Yeah,
absolutely. Where can they find that? Where do they find that?
Any podcast platform. Just type in BizBros, BizBros, and we're there.
Okay. And if they want to talk to you about Results Imagery, they can just go to resultsimagery.com.
Yes.
Yep.
And you work with people, they don't have to be in Oregon where you guys are at. You can be anywhere.
I would say 10%, 5% of our clients are in Oregon. So we work internationally. Yep.
Same here. And again, of course, the same website, I assume, if they're interested in talking to you about a little consulting on a startup.
It's actually bizbros.io.
Got it. Yep. And all that, of course, ladies and gentlemen, will be in the show notes at prafterhours.com. Kyle, Eli, anything else before we go? I see they're turning on the ugly lights here in the virtual lounge, so we got to roll. Anything I didn't ask you about you want to mention before we go?
I don't think so. I think it's just like we always try to really push on people is just don't be afraid to take that next step.
Yep.
It's like that first initial step in terms of entrepreneurship or trying to install culture in your business. It just takes doing it. And it's okay to have a mentor, and it's okay to tell people about your business idea, and it's okay just to just be vulnerable and just get started. That's what we always push. Just get started.
Exactly. And it's okay to fail and always fail forward.
Yep. That's about it.
Well, there you have it, folks. We started out talking about culture, and I can't think of a better way to propagate a good culture than what the BizBros here are doing. Eli, Kyle, thank you so much for appearing here in the virtual lounge.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Have a good one, man.
You too.